Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? We're going to go ahead and get started with our week 6. It is eating better on a budget. So we will be talking all things about eating better, but then also trying to, because going in the grocery store nowadays is sticker shock. So trying to do that a little bit on a budget so that we'll be able to still eat well, but still stick to our monthly budgets that we have for ourselves and our families. So we will go ahead and get started. And so let's get to it. So first, we just want to start by saying that this lesson is adapted from a lesson developed and tested by the University of Pittsburgh. It is based on a diabetes prevention program, but that does not mean that you have to have that disease in order to get something out of this program. We talk a lot about goals in this class, in all the classes that I've ever taught, and for this farmers market season. And so, what you get out of it is what you get out of it. So if this or whatever lesson I'm talking about or whatever thing I'm going over, if it doesn't fit within your goals, and just leave it where it is, that's okay. It might work for somebody else. It might not work for you, and that's cool. And so we'll talk about a little bit about our goals a little bit at the end, and let's just keep it going. So objectives of today's lesson is just talking about like how to make a food budget, meal planning, what is it, how do you do it, how do you make it healthy, but then also there's some shopping tips in there as well. So how we make a food budget is just determining how much money you have for the food. So, every month or every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, whatever the case may be, we get paid. And then out of that, you have to determine like a part of your budget. So you might have, things that go to your rent, things that might go for your car, things that might go to your school expenses, however you budget your money, the money that you have. We also should think about how we budget money for our food. And so this just determines how much you have to spend on each category. That includes like your food. So like I was saying, could be your rent, your car, whatever, added savings, however you budget, think about food expenses as well. So this will include how much money you have to spend on your food. So start off from there. And then also deciding a part of that is how often you want to shop. Some people like going to are good cooks or not good cooks, or just people that love to cook. So they're going to not eat out as often. They're going to cook every day. They're going to use all that food that they buy. And that's some people, but then there's also other people that don't cook as often, that they might be out the house more often. They might have other obligations where they're away from the home and they have to go through the drive-through or eat at a restaurant, whatever the case may be, whatever your lifestyle is. So then you also want to think about how often are you going to shop, because there's no use in buying all this fresh fruits and vegetables and you're going to be gone on vacation for 2 weeks and the fruits and vegetables just going to be sitting in your refrigerator looking sad by the time you come back because I was out the house. So we just need to decide on how often we shop, and then also budgeting for both food and non-food items. So things like toilet paper and paper towels and napkins and things like that you can find at those type of grocery stores. If that is a part of that as well. Some people use other methods, but this is something that you can think about as well, budgeting for those non-food items that we still use in our pantry type area. So that is how you think about that. And so then we talk about meal planning as well. And you can approach any approach you use to plan your meals. And so that can include cooking at home. Like I said before, there's going to be people that they never eat out. That's all they do is cook at home because they like the food that they cook. And that's cool. But then there's also people that eat away from home. That just depends on what your obligations are going to be. And then you can also think about one meal at a time, or you can think about multiple meals at a time, or like, you make one big batch on a Sunday, and then I'm going to eat the same thing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, have a new recipe, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, have a new recipe, Saturday, Sunday, and then you start over. Some people love a good leftover. I love a good leftover. Not everybody likes leftovers. Some people like a fresh meal every day, and I don't know. I feel like food tastes better the second day. So it just depends on how you are. And so you need to take into account, you need to know yourself when you are making these meal plans, because if you know you're not going to eat that leftover, there's no reason to buy big quantities of stuff if you know you're not gonna eat that leftover. And it's gonna go to waste, and we don't want to waste things like that, especially when we don't have to. When you're doing these planning, try it once, see how it works, and then adjust. And so why do we plan our meals? We plan meals, one, because before we get started on how we do, or for that meal planning, we save money. And so it's no more buying food and then letting it go to waste because you didn't get around to using it or cooking it. It cuts down also on the number of times that you go to the grocery store each week. Don't be like me and forget to write it down. And then you get in there and you're like, what did I say I was going to buy? What did I need at the house? And it's always the cheese, or it's always some random condiment that goes with the meal. It's always the pickles. It's something that you always forget to get. You just don't even go down that aisle because you don't even think about it until you need it. And then when you go in that grocery store each week because I forgot to do this, then you're less likely to impulse buy. You go after you leave from work and you're hungry and it's like, I'm ready to go home and cook my meal so I can go home and eat. And then you go in there hungry and you're like, ooh, chips, ooh, things that you don't really need. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, it's buy one, get one. Ooh, look at this. And you had no plan on purchasing it in the first place, but then you went in there anyway because you forgot whatever you forgot, and you ended up buying a whole lot of stuff that you didn't even plan on buying. Don't be like that. We want to plan, write things down. And so it helps save money planning our meals, because when you write it down, you have it all in front of you. Second, it helps reduce stress, because you don't have to even think about, well, what am I going to eat today? Or what's for dinner? You already know it's for dinner because you already have it planned out. And then it tends to be more nutritious, and more to your palate. It depends on what kind of goals you have. If you're looking to reduce your salt intake, you can, when you're planning your meals and you do it at home, or you're cooking at home, you can know what you're putting into your meals. But then also, if you're planning your meals ahead of time and you have to go out, you can also look at the menu and see what works best for whatever goal that you have as well. So it just helps with a lot of things, a plethora of things of why we want to plan our meals. And so this next video I'm going to show you is just talking a little bit about meal planning 101.
What does it mean to plan meals? For some people, it can be really frustrating. Most people don't know where to start, or it seems almost impossible to organize and plan ahead for a week or even a few days. First, get organized. Take a few minutes each week to follow these easy steps, and it will get easier every time. What does the family's week look like? Who will be home for meals? What do the kids need for their lunches? Do sports or work schedules affect the plans? Write this all down. Someone may have a special request.
Hey Mom, can I have cereal for supper?
Hey Mom, can we have pancakes for dinner?
Hey Mom, can we have Chinese food for dinner?
Hey Mom, can I help you cook?
That's not gonna happen.
The next step is to see what you have on hand at home. You want to try to use foods that you already have in the cabinet and notice which staples you are missing, such as canned vegetables or spices. Start making your grocery list based on what you need to buy at the store. Pay attention to the perishable foods that you need to use up so that you can plan a meal or two with these items. You don't want your fresh fruit and vegetables to spoil, so plan ahead when you use these items in the weekly menu you're making. If you attend the Food Talk or online Food E-Talk classes, you can get this handy, reusable grocery shopping checklist for free. Keep a calendar that spells out each meal for every day of the week. Based on what perishable foods you need to use up, what your family requested, and even thinking about what produce might be in season or on sale at the store, decide what meals you have each day. As you fill in each meal, add to your grocery list. Remember, stick to your list and don't buy anything that you already have enough of at home. When making your list, try to group food items according to where they can be found in the store. That saves time. Now you're ready to go shopping. Just don't forget your list.
All right, everybody. So then after we talk about our meal planning, we want to talk a little bit about the magic of My Plate that help us build our meals. So once we know the building blocks of a healthy meal, the possibilities are really endless with what we want to have and like what goals we want to accomplish. And so the My Plate and the Dietary Guidelines for Americans encourage us to look at the whole eating pattern rather than just individual food. So by using this plate visual as a tool, we can help ourselves find ways to move towards more healthy eating patterns. And so we want to try to aim to consume 4 to 5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day. And so while that might look or seem, when you hear 4 to 5 vegetables and fruits and vegetables a day, that's like, okay, that's a lot. But like one medium-sized apple, like the size of your fist, is considered to be a serving, serving of like a fruit or serving of a fruit, excuse me. And so people who eat more vegetables and fruits are part of an overall, or have like a overall healthy diet, are likely to have reduced risks of some chronic diseases. So that's one of the reasons why we try to encourage us to add in some of those fruits and vegetables within our diets, because we get the potassium, the dietary fibers, all the vitamin A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We get the alphabet of the vitamins that come with our fruits and vegetables as we're eating them. So we just encourage everybody to choose colorful fruits and vegetables, just have a colorful plate. That's also one of the things that we try to encourage as well. So here, the My Plate, we see that fruits and vegetables take up at least half of our plate. And then we have whole grains, low fat proteins, and dairy as well. And so when we are planning meals, we kind of want to look and see, okay, well, if this is what we're eating, do I have a vegetable on my plate? Do I have a protein on my plate? Do I have a grain on my plate? Will I have fruit available? You may not want to eat it at the same time as you're eating your dinner, whatever floats your boat. But some people like to eat their fruits throughout the day, like for breakfast or for snacks and things like that, or after dinner. But do you have fruits and vegetables available? Are you eating dairy? Some people are lactose intolerant, so dairy is not an option, and that's okay too. We can get our some of those things from the nutrients from other items, so you don't have to have dairy to get the benefits of the nutrients that come with dairy. So it just depends on what it is, but I like to show everybody the My Plate, and you can go to myplate.gov if you're more interested in looking at some more resources that they have. But just kind of like look, like when you're looking at your plate, when you're eating, like, is there a vegetable on here? Is there a grain on here? Is there a protein on here? And so just so you can have more of a well-balanced food choices. And so then there's also ways that we see like My Plate in action. And so there are like spaghetti dinners where you have pasta, which is the grain, the grilled chicken, which is the protein, side salad, which is the part of the vegetables, milk is a part of the dairy, apple slice is a part of the fruit. And so they could be that kind of mix match type of like you have a one piece of every part of the My Plate, but then you could also do My Plates that don't really look like the plate. And so you'll have like a casserole that might have the protein, the grain, the dairy, and the vegetable all in one. And it works that way as well, as long as there's one from every category, excuse me. So we also want to try to create a master list when we're going to the grocery store. Things to include would be family favorites, asking your family what they actually like to eat. because in getting them involved in that, because we don't just want to be the main person that's always going to the store and always having to think of what next, type thing. So asking so that they can have their input in that as well and help them make the master list. Having double duty meals as well. So meals that you can use. You buy chicken, and so you might make it for one meal and then as a leftover, use that chicken and make another meal. And so that's those type of double duty meals so that you cook once, eat twice type thing. And then there's those non-recipe recipes as well, things that you just pull out the pantry and end up making a recipe out of, like those type of bowls. That you can make at home. You have a grain and then you put a protein on it, add a sauce on it, add a vegetable, things that don't really have a technical recipe on it, but you just kind of threw it together. Those are those non-recipe recipes, add those in as well. And then you can build your list up by keeping a dinner diary, just knowing like what, that might have been a family favorite. And so you put that into the dinner diary. And then and by the time you end up doing that, you'll have a list of go-to dinners that everybody loves to have. Also asking friends and family to share their go-to meals as well. And then browsing recipes like foodtalk.org for recipes that you would like to try. And so after that, we want to compare our list to the My Plate. Am I getting half of my plate fruits and vegetables, like I was saying? Am I varying my proteins, or is it chicken for a month? There might be some other proteins out there that you might like to eat. Can we add in some whole grains into the foods that we are choosing? Considering making a list of go-to fruits and vegetables that you like to eat. I know in previous weeks, I've said before, when you know what you like, make sure as soon as you get it, you prep it that day that you get it so that you can put it in Ziploc bags and have it front and center instead of putting it down into that drawer and forgetting about it for the next 3 weeks and then having to clean out the refrigerator, wondering what smells weird and having to throw that bag full of grapes away that you forgot that you bought. So making sure that when you do buy your fruits and vegetables that you're prepping them so that you be able to eat them and not forget about them in the drawer. It doesn't have to be perfect because nothing is perfect. And so the word of the week this week is schedule. It is up here. The word of the week is schedule. So make sure that when you come visit us for Fresh on Deck this week, that you tell us that the word of the week is schedule. You'll have to let us know what that word is. We might ask you, do you have the word of the week? But you have to tell us the word. Write it down for the people that need to have it written down. Put it in your phone, put it on a sticky note, make sure you have it. But yes, the word of the week is schedule. So keep it going. Consider our schedule when we are building our list for the week, or however we want to build our list for grocery shopping. Is what does your week look like? Am I going to be here? Who will be at home for these meals? Or is half the house going to be out the house doing whatever they're doing, and it's only going to be you and one other person in the house, or just you by yourself at the house? You don't have to make a big meal for 4 when it's just the one person here that's only going to be there eating dinner. So just have to think about. Also think about, what do we need for lunches if you have children that are in school now, because school's back in session. Thinking if they take their lunches, think about what you have to make for lunches, or if you work from home, think about what you need to make for lunch as well. And then, do you have work, church, or sport commitments, or Greek commitments, or whatever type of commitment? Think about how that affects your plans. You might have Bible study on Wednesdays, and then somebody, one of your children or grandchildren, might have a sport on Thursday, and then on Friday I have a cookout at somebody else's house, and then on Saturday I'm not going to be here either. And it's just, think about your week, think about who's going to be here, and then also let that reflect in the grocery shopping that you do, especially if you're grocery shopping every week or so. You'll know what to do and how much you need to be purchasing, because you might not be at home. And that's okay too. And then, does anybody have any special requests? Is it going to be somebody's birthday? They always get like a special birthday meal, whatever the case may be. Think about those special requests for that week. And then also be realistic when we're making our meal planning, because while it is good to have a special meal, every meal is special. We want to make it so it's delicious, but sometimes some of those meals be so involved. There's so many ingredients that go into it. Like here as a joke, like a meme, it's like Monday having homemade macaroni and cheese, stuffed meatballs, cinnamon roasted butter squash, and you have to cut and chop all that up. And then on Tuesday, I have to do pan-fried fish with prosciutto wrapped asparagus and pine nut couscous, and so involved, all these things. We have so many big plans. And then you had a tough Tuesday at work and you come home and I don't feel like making this right now. Or whatever the case may be. And then we end up just eating leftovers. And then by Thursday, we have dry cereal. Fridays used to be fend for yourself Fridays at my house. So it was either soup and a sandwich or whatever you can find in the fridge and make a meal. And that's okay too. And so we want to just make sure that we are being realistic when we are making our meal plans, because as good as this original plan looked, it's very involved, lots of chopping, lots of cooking, the house is hot. Okay, it's too much now. So think about that while we are making our meals. You might want to have one fancy meal for the week, and then everything else can be a crock pot meal or something simple, sandwich night, whatever the case may be. So think about that. And then while we're also talking about considering our schedule, what works will change based on what is going on in your world, as well. So having a slow cooker, it's getting cold. Well, in the next couple months, it might be getting a little cold. So slow cookers are also so good. Also think about snack dinner for the sidelines, or just adding in, like having a drive-through, adding in fruits and vegetables from home. Like you might go to the drive-through and get a burger and fries, but then you also brought grapes and whatever kind of vegetable that you like with you, so that you can add in. We always talk about adding in more fruits and vegetables into our diet, adding in something else into the meal that we're already eating. And then also sandwiches and soups are simple for one person or for the whole family. Like I said, Fridays at our house, we're fend for yourself Fridays. So not all Fridays, but some Fridays. We're fend for yourself Fridays. And if my mom wasn't cooking, she's not cooking. So soups and sandwiches. I grew up on soups and sandwiches and I love them. And then also when we're talking about thinking about how we're planning our meals, we want to embrace the meal template. And so it kind of helps narrow down the options so that we know Tuesdays we're eating tacos, but there can be variations in that as well. Or on Wednesdays, we're eating breakfast for dinner, but there's always variations for breakfast foods. And it starts an exciting routine for somebody. It can, you can tweak it so that it feels fresh. One Wednesday might be pancakes. The next Wednesday might be waffles. The Wednesday after that might be something else, breakfast related, omelets, whatever the case. So it could be like chicken taco versus a black bean taco, veggie omelet versus scrambled eggs, turkey burger versus lean beef burger. It could be a whole variation of different things, but I know that on Tuesdays we're eating tacos and on Wednesdays we're doing breakfast for dinner, and I only have to worry about, whatever meal on Monday, whatever meal on Thursday and Friday for the week. And then also we want to talk about shopping our house first. It also helps to know what is in your pantry before you go out and buy a third ketchup bottle. Because when I was living, I thought I didn't have ketchup, and then I ended up having ketchup, and then I just had 2 full bottles of ketchup just chilling in my pantry because I didn't shop my house first. So you need to know what's in your pantry before you go and buy things again, especially when it hasn't gone bad yet. So think about what's in your fridge, what's in your freezer, what's in your pantry. Try recipes using pantry staples. There are different like rice bowls and bean bowls and things like that you can try first, and then you want to make your list based on that. Because if you see a recipe that might have pinto beans in it and you haven't checked your pantry first, you'll end up with cans of pinto beans, more cans that you need. And so this is just kind of like the stocking your pantry, your fridge and your pantry, kind of those staples that you can have in there always and always have them. So we have like brown rice and whole grain rice, pasta, whole wheat tortillas, and roll oats. It just depends on what your house needs or what you eat in your home. You know best. So like having canned and jarred things like beans and tuna, peanut butter, applesauce, salsa, tomatoes, corn. Also having like vegetable oils and vinegars, lemon juice, lime, hot sauces and soy sauces, eggs, frozen fruit, vegetables, frozen vegetables, those work as well. So just depends on what you're eating in your family and what the things that you need that you always want to have stocked up for your fridge and your pantry as well. And then also try to look for options that are less salt or sugar, less sugar or less saturated fat, depending on what your goals are for yourself. You might be looking into lower sodium items that you have in your home if you're looking to reduce your salt intake or your sugar intake, whatever the case may be, look for those items as well. And then also finding a system that works well for you. Some people love a good pen and paper. I sometimes I just have to write it down in order for it to be up here. Because if I say it out loud, it might not be up here, but if I write it down, I'll have it. And so sometimes that could be a menu that your entire family sees. Or if you are a technical person, you have all the technology in the palm of your hand and your phone. You can have running lists. I had a friend tell me that they have like a grocery list in a document that they have, a shared document, and they just add the things that they realize that they need separately. So I might need deodorant, or I might not be out of deodorant, but somebody else might be out of deodorant, and they just add it on the list, and it just keeps a running list. And if it's not on the list by 11:59 on Sunday, it's not going to get bought. So some people are technical like that. And then also, it could help to add in your family into this process. So, because one, they might not realize how involved it is. And so they never know. And they're like, oh, it's easy. Oh, you can do it. You've done it. You always do it. But then it also helps to get people involved to know that this is not easy. You have to see it in order to realize what work goes into running the home. So everybody's different. Just do what works best for you as well. And then here is the shopping list guide. Like that video was saying before, organize your list how the store is laid out. So if you know on the right side is the deli and the back is the meats, on the left side is the produce aisle. That's what my local shopping place looks like. So whatever you can see the layout of your shopping place, put fruits and vegetables in the on the list in the same spot so that you don't have to go back and forth between the aisles. Put canned foods in one, put grain products in one, dairy, meats, and frozen foods all together. And so you know what your grocery store might look out, the layout may look out. And so you'll know every time I go in the grocery store, I always go to the right first, and the right is the deli. And so this is what I need first. And then in the back, you just shop your list that way as well. And so this is the recipe of the week. It is the peach salsa. We will have peaches and cucumbers available for you all to purchase this week so that you can try this recipe if you want to. And the next video I show is going to be the video of how to make this peach salsa. All right, so that is the recipe of the week, that peach salsa. This is one of my favorite recipes. So give it a try if you like peach, if you like the salsa type of thing. You can eat it by itself with just some regular tortilla chips, or you can put it on chicken. That would be good. You can have it like as a topping for your plate, or you can just eat it plain. I love it. So give it a try. And so I just want to give some tips for when we are in the grocery store for every aisle. So when we are looking at fruits and vegetables, we want to try to buy in-season produce because that usually costs less and it's at its peak flavor as well. But then also freezer. A lot of people believe that freezer fruits and vegetables aren't nutritious enough for you. However, it is. And so if you are gonna be away for a long time, or even if you just find frozen fruits and vegetables more convenient, then give that a try as well. Just one thing is making sure you're getting just the vegetables. Don't try to get like the vegetables in butter sauce. That's added things in there. We just want to try to get just the vegetables, just plain old vegetables. There's nothing added into that. So frozen, it kind of lasts longer than the fresh. And so it just depends on what your lifestyle is. Grains, we want to try or look to try new whole grain snack ideas, like switching our whole wheat crackers into popping your own popcorn or things like that. There are different ways of getting in our grains as well. And then rice and pasta are always budget-friendly type of grain options too. So also with our protein, some low-cost protein foods include beans, peas, and lentils. And so and also chickpeas and things like that. So those are some different types of proteins that we can use as well. To lower our meat costs, we depending on what the price is, the family size or the value pack sizes tend to be cheaper, even though everything in the grocery store now is expensive. But you can use what you need and then freeze the rest so that you can have the rest if you do buy those larger packs as well. And then also dairy, try to choose low fat or fat free type of milk and dairy products, just depending on what your goals are. So that might not be what you want to do. And then other things are just drinking water instead of sodas and high sugar types of drinks. You can also use or choose checkout lanes that don't have like those candy shelves, so that especially if you have little young ones with you, or if you see things while you're waiting, that's why they put those owls up there so that you can see them while you're waiting. So if that's one of those added costs that you don't want to add into that, then try to stay away from those checkout lanes as well. And then also the price tag on the shelf has a lot of information on it. So it's good to understand kind of what those numbers mean. And so this is going to break it down for you. So first we see the retail price, and this is the price that you pay for one single item. The unit price is the cost of an item by its size or the unit. This can be by the pound or the ounce or the quart or any other type of measurement. And it can be very good and useful when comparing two items. So this image shows two different price tags on a shelf based on the unit price. And you can see that the larger container is a better buy because you're getting more for your money. And so you can do how the unit price is found is the total price of the item divided by the size, and that is the unit price. So for example, what is the unit price of this 6-ounce yogurt that has the retail price? And that's the price that you pay of 72 cents. And so you'll see that 72 cents, which is the total price, divided by the size, 6 ounces, is 12 cents. So the unit price of the yogurt is 12 cents per ounce. And so the 32-ounce yogurt has a unit price of 5 cents. And so the 6-ounce of the yogurt is 12 cents. And so we see that this 32-ounce has a better unit price. You get more money for the price. You get more of the product for the price, or the weight of the product for the price. And so it's good when you are trying to compare, like, especially if you just need yogurt, or like if you are going to utilize that bigger size as well than as a smaller size. And so you can see which one would be cheaper for you to get more of that item out of. You can get more out of that item, excuse me. So also some shopping tips is looking for the less costly items on higher or lower shelves. Those middle shelves, those eye level shelves, those are gonna probably be the most expensive depending on what, or it tends to be the most expensive for the grocery stores, those eye levels. So look at the top and look at the bottom, and you might see an item that is comparable to the item that you're purchasing to get the less costly item. You want to try to get your refrigerator and your frozen food items last, so they're not just sitting in your cart while you shop around. Shopping alone if possible. And also when you're not tired and hungry, so that you have the time and the mental awareness to compare prices if that's something that you're choosing to do. Don't forget your shopping list and actually stick to it. Matt, watch for mistakes at the checkout as well. Because, you know, you go to the grocery store and you see something, you see the sale sticker, and then you go up and it's not the right thing. And then you don't even realize it till you're out the door looking at the receipt on your way to the car. The other week, I thought that the waters were buy one, get one free. And it was actually buy two, get one free, or buy three and get one free. And I was like, I don't need 4 cases of water. Wait. So I had to go back and be like, okay, never mind. I'll just get something else. And then also repurposing our leftovers and handling and storing food properly to prevent food waste as well. Like I was saying before, think about mixing our fresh, frozen, and canned fruit and vegetable products. Consider all forms of fruits and vegetables in your recipes. You can choose fresh when they're in season. It's usually cheaper and a lot tastier, but then also trying frozen or canned when they are out of season. So frozen is often picked at the peak of freshness, excuse me. And so that is where you can still get that high level of nutrients from frozen fruits and vegetables. Choose fruits that are packed in 100% fruit juice or water, and then choose vegetables that are in low or no salt added cans. And then if you do get a regular can of beans or whatever, you can rinse them off to try to get a lot of that sodium out of that product as well. So you still can get all the nutrients from our frozen and canned products. It just depends on the lifestyle that you have. If you're going to be in the house, then you can choose fresh. But if you're going to be out of the house, and I'm always busy and I haven't even been in the house twice this week, then try to think about frozen or canned options. Making your life easier later is thinking of meat and grain products that you can prepare and eat in multiple ways. So like at the beginning of the presentation, I was talking about those double duty meals. Think about like, one day I might have chicken, and so I'll have like a chicken breast and meat and vegetables, whatever kind of plate that you have. And then you have leftover chicken, you can shred it up, put a little barbecue sauce on it, and you'll have shredded barbecue chicken for another meal that you have, but you only cooked that chicken breast once. And so those are those double duty meals that we talk about, so that, like I said before, cook once, eat twice, so you don't really have to put a lot of into that prep work. Prepping our veggies as soon as we get home for salads or snacks. So don't leave the grapes in the bottom drawer and let them sit there until it starts smelling weird. Make sure that we are washing our fruits and vegetables that day that we get them, and putting them in our Ziploc bags or our reusable containers, so that we will be able to actually see and use them throughout the week. For me, and if you're anything like me, if it's not in eyesight, then it's gone forever. It might as well not have been in the house, because I'll forget that it's there. So I have to be able to put things front and center. The fruit has to be at the front of the refrigerator or it's gone. I don't even have fruit, but I just bought fruit on Sunday. I don't even remember having it. I put it in the drawer, it's gone. And so think about that. You have to know yourself as well. It took me a while to realize, like, I have to put things visible in order for me to actually use them. Also think about roasting a pan of veggies and throwing everything in there. My favorite thing is chopping up, going to the grocery store, chopping everything up, putting them in the containers. And then as the week goes on, I'll just take some out, put some olive oil on it, put whatever seasonings, whatever goes with the meal for that day, put it in I have an air fryer. So I just throw them in the air fryer and roast them. And then that is the vegetables. And I have multiple vegetables in there, all different colors. It's a very colorful plate. I love it. I love the summertime. That I use, and I just put that with the meat and a grain, and that's my meal. And then also making a double batch and freezing half of it if you are, like I said, if you are a leftover person, or if chili is not really in right now, but in a couple of months it will be. So think about making a big old batch of chili, eating what you can, and then freezing the rest for another time. And then freezing single serve options. I know a lot of people do this for breakfast items now because it's just a lot easier. They have burritos and breakfast sandwiches and soups as well. You can freeze them in single serve portions. And then when we think about reducing our food waste, only purchasing what you and your family will use, especially if you shop weekly or shop every other week, think about your schedule so that you'll know what you are purchasing so you don't waste it. And then only preparing what you can eat in 2 to 3 days, make the freezer your friend. And then also try recipes that use up our leftovers as well. And like I was saying before, we have those non-recipe type meals. And so that could be like a grain bowl where you just have a grain, you have a vegetable, whatever you have at the house. You picking a protein, and then you have like a sauce or herb or whatever seasonings you use that will go with that flavor that you're trying to accomplish. And then that is the meal. So it's not really a recipe that you use, but you kind of have like a vibe, like, oh, I want to have a Cajun vibe, or I'm thinking like having an Asian grain bowl or something like that, and putting those flavors together that you can use. So you can swap out the salsa for teriyaki sauce or the black beans for the chickpeas, depending on what way that you're trying to make that meal. And so those are those non-recipe recipes that I love to use. I like to make a meal out of no meal is what I usually think. You have ingredients and you're like, well, there's nothing in the refrigerator right now. Well, I'm just going to make a meal out of no meal. And I just start pulling stuff out the pantry, be like, we're going to make something out of nothing because I don't feel like cooking, and I don't feel like having to thaw out something or, go somewhere and get something else. And then you end up with a meal, and it's not a recipe that you had. It's not something that you follow per se. It's just something that you just pull together. And the next is going to be our physical activity workout suggestion that I like to show. A lot of people are wanting to be active, and this is a way that you can be active at home. You can do it in air conditioning. If you are like me, who I love air conditioning. I don't like to be outside that often, but if I'm going to work out, I want it to be in the air conditioning. Temperature controlled is my favorite, but here is a walking workout. It has like a step counter on it, and it also has a lot of music. So this is the disco funk type of vibe. And so this is something that, if this is something that you might want to try, then I have my email in the next slide that you'll just send me an email and let me know that you want that video. And so I'll give you just showing a little bit about what this video is.
Step touches, boom. Now we're mixing the old school with the new school today. We've got a disco, a funk vibe, modern tunes with some old school tunes. Let me tell you, this playlist is absolute fire today. Let's bring it back home to marches. Now, first time to my workouts, welcome. I do not care if you get every single step wrong today. It doesn't matter. As long as you're having a good time, that's all that counts. We're going to do a side double. Looks like this. Side, double it up. Side, double. Good. Well, you remember this step because it's going to be quite.
So that is just a little bit of that video just to show you. This is something that you can do in your house. It has the music that goes with it. Like you said, he didn't really care if you got every step wrong as long as you're moving. And so you can dance with it or you can walk with him as well. And if you want that video, you can send me an email at Jamil, Jam as in Mary, ILLE, Hawkins @uga.edu if you would like the link for that video if you want to give it a try. You can find us on freshondeck.com, our Facebook and Instagram on Fresh on Deck. And then also this video, this recording for people that aren't on social media, it will be up on our YouTube page as well on DeKalb County Extension Services. So you can go to that and find that video, or this video is going to be up for you all to see and for people that aren't on social media. So let them know to go on YouTube if they're not a social media type person. On the right is our evaluation that I ask you all to do every single week. And I'm going to keep asking you until week 8 and until it's time for us to depart each other for the summer to fill out our evaluation. Here is the QR code for it. And then also this is the web link address for it as well. And if you don't have it now, then you can just send me an email and I'll send it out to you that way too. So thank you all for joining us this week. Make sure that you request a kitchen gadget for joining our class as well. We will be on Tuesday at Embark in Lithonia, and then also at the North Lake Community and the Snellville, DeKalb County, Gwinnett line that's still in DeKalb County. Also Wednesday will be at the South DeKalb Senior Center in Stonemill Elementary School. I want to just make sure that you all know that at Stonemill Elementary School, we will be shortening our time to 12 to 1:30 due to school dismissal. So we would just want to make sure that the buses, the children could get home on their buses. And so that we're not impeding that at Stonemill Elementary. So it will be from 12 to 1:30. We will have that posted on social media as well, but just make sure if you're going to join us at Stonemill that you get there before 1:30. Also Thursday, we'll be at Redan Recreation Center and the Crest Center off Candler Road. And then Friday we'll be at Starn Senior Community and the DeKalb County Extension Office off Memorial Drive. And so if you have any more questions, you can see here, find us on Facebook and Instagram as well, and also send me an email at jamil.hawkins@uga.edu. We hope you all have a great week and we'll see you out on the market. Have a good day.